touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. My music.
We're in the bunker, we're wearing our parachute pants. Can't touch this. We're the day trippers. On the 33rd Day Trippers podcast, we have a full bunker and a debut for Charley Maloney as we relive yesterday's unbearable tension at Carrow Road when Liverpool decided to take the captain way too literally and reproduced exactly the same kind of nervy win that they had achieved against Manchester City. Our preview of Chelsea will be later in the week. Let's stuck into your listeners' questions. Okay, in a very, very packed bunker, let's begin our review of Norwich City 2, Liverpool 3. It was another nervy win, another game spent in a bit of a state of heightened anxiety after looking to be home and dry. Is this second half Liverpool a worry in the matches to come? Well, yesterday, even for having the temerity to have a moan about Johnson and Lucas and Brennan's substitutions, I was told to just fucking enjoy it. So the opening question to you people around the table is, are you enjoying it? Charley Maloney?
No. In a way, is no.
Why is that?
Because my nerves are gone and they keep coming out in the first half and being boss and then going into the changing rooms and coming out and being weirdos, and I'm like, where's the lads gone who've just been on the pitch?
Yeah.
There's no substitutions, so
Yeah.
What's happened there? And now my heart's gone. It's
So
not fair. Stop it, lads.
Stop it. Okay, that's fair enough. Paul Brennan, how are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, yeah.
You're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's better kind of worrying about this than it is about worrying about fucking Roy Hodgson or anything like that, so.
Are you going to start getting...
Early Hodgson.
Perspective,
Are you going to start getting all Casey and philosophical about us now and start talking about the past and comparing it to the present? How did you manage? Tell me how...
I told a lot of the players to fuck off while I was watching them.
Yes,
but
you
in
did.
general, like...
Yes, you did.
In general, I'm enjoying it.
So tell me how you enjoyed the second half, mate, because I'm at a loss. Go on, explain that process.
You got me there. I didn't enjoy it at all. Yeah, it was fucking frightening stuff. But I am kind of overall enjoying it. But yeah, it's dicey stuff in the fucking second half.
It is.
Again.
It is. Come into the mic there, Paul, because Phil keeps telling you.
Fuck Phil.
Come in, Paul. Please come into the microphone.
that hand gesture is just...
It depends what time of the night it is.
10 to 2, usually.
Steve Daley, story. How are you getting on? How are you enjoying this?
Yeah, I am enjoying it actually. Yeah. Even second half yesterday, I'm enjoying it. We're winning games.
We're
top
winning
of the league.
games. Yes.
We're 5 points clear. If you can't enjoy it now, when can you enjoy it? Because in the last 20 years, I've never seen us in this position.
Very good point.
You know what I mean? So there was 2 goals that we conceded, which I felt were both soft. There was probably 3 other chances, including Skirtle's, the shot that hit Skirtle's head and was nearly an OG. But other than that, I didn't think we were under that much pressure, especially since we were effectively playing with 10 men for the entirety of the game.
We'll come to that.
I know we will. Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean? Other than that, yeah, I am enjoying it. You know, I feel we should have had the game wrapped up, without putting ourselves in that position. I still think, even though there was a few players that weren't on their game yesterday, or as good as they could be, that we still looked for the majority of the game in control. Yeah. And that, to me, we got out with the 3 points. I don't care how we win the next few matches. It's about getting out with a few points.
Just get out with the points. Yeah, just
get out with... You know what? We win the game. We win the game next Sunday. I don't care if it's the nerviest match ever. I don't care if it's the worst game ever. We get 3 points from that game next Sunday. We're pretty much home and host.
Yeah. Steve Browne, enjoyment secondary at this stage. We just want to keep winning.
I'm just loving every minute of it. It's great fun, yeah. Great fun, yeah. Loving as much as Raheem Sterling with his flappy wings and everything. Brilliant.
It is brilliant to watch. And the second half didn't cause you too much anxiety?
It was a strange... I don't know what it was. I was sitting watching the match yesterday and I kind of thought to myself that before Mignolet decided to come and kind of flap it across, it just didn't look like we conceded. It looked like one of those games where it was like, no matter what Norwich were going to do, they just weren't going to break us down. And then it was obviously a stupid mistake from Mignolet that cost us the goal. But I don't know what it is. Luck seems to be in at the minute, which happens with every league title winning side, you need that kind of look, as Steve said, with the shot that hits Skirtle's head. If that was the other end as an Norwich player, that flies into the bottom corner. But things just seem to be going right for us. It's just brilliant. Fucking loving it.
Phil, it's a bit of a worry, isn't it, to be relying on this kind of atmosphere, and people are talking about fate and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really into that. You?
I was the one that said I was gloriously calm about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
I am gloriously calm until the 90 minutes when I'm sitting there watching the match. It's like I found myself gradually descending into a football as the game wore on yesterday, getting sort of rolled up into the fetal position the closer and closer to the 90 minutes game, and especially in that second half. And you're just waiting, you're 2-0 up and you're cruising, and then you give away a stupid one. You're going, fucking 2-1, poxy score. No, just see, get control, just regroup, fucking everything. Then we go 3-1. You say, yeah, happy days. This could be comfortable again. And then we just go again, and it's like I can't enjoy that nerviness, especially the last 10 minutes. Jesus, I was like a fucking. You're just sitting there and, eating fingers, eating the pillow, eating everything you can fucking find.
To be fair, it wouldn't be unusual for you to eat the
Do you not think that coming up against Norwich, we shouldn't have had to do that?
But see,
we should have walked it, and we shouldn't be.
I don't think the one thing we said about Norwich, and actually we said it in the pod last week, is that it was always going to be a tight one with Norwich, despite all the things that was going on. If you remember last year, we won 5-2 when we went there. We conceded 2 goals as well. They've drawn with City at home this year. They've beaten Spurs. They've had a reasonably good record, and they've turned in good performances throughout the season. Their position in the table belies the actual performances that Norwich have turned in actual matches. They just can't seem to score goals. Now, we managed to concede 2 to them, and that to me is remains the biggest worry as we go on this run in. It just, I find it hard to enjoy. I enjoy before the game. I enjoy after the game when the result is sewn up. But when you're in the midst of the 90 minutes, it's very hard to actually enjoy that when it's so tight and everything is riding on what's going on.
No, you can't. Look, enjoying the games, I think it's a misnomer. You enjoy the result, but look, let's keep you on there, and I will skip one of the items in the agenda there. So you've talked about concession of goals. There's a lot of chat about Mignolet. He had another kind of a mixed game, I think. Maybe not convincing under the high ball. His punching again seemed a bit strange. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about his punching. It seems unorthodox. He seems to use sometimes overhand punching, or use the wrong hand. It looks unusual to me.
The goal you can see, the one that he dropped yesterday, he goes with the wrong hand.
Yeah,
he obviously leads with a stronger hand because that's the one he feels comfortable with. But with the player coming in from his left hand side, if he gets hit from that side, it's going to turn. Like his punch is naturally going to, like his fist and the punch in the ball is going to naturally turn back towards the goal. If he comes with the left hand, even if he gets hit, the ball is going to travel in the opposite direction and away from where the Norwich players are. I actually didn't think Mignolet was particularly poor yesterday. I think he made a mistake for the goal. He made a couple of really good solid saves in terms of holding onto the ball when the shots were taken at them. But the one criticism I have, and something that he'd improved on in the previous weeks, was his speed of distribution slowed down again yesterday. He was always taking an extra touch as the ball came in. He wasn't playing things first time, and that was allowing the Norwich players to actually press on to either the defenders, the midfielders, and then himself, because there was a couple of times when they got very close to him in terms of closing him down, and you're just like, get it out your feet, and he wasn't getting it out quick. This can also be a nerve thing. Not that I'd say the player is nervous, but there's so much riding on it. You want to make sure that your passes are right. You don't want to have a West Brom thing happen like the Colas pass against West Brom, because a draw or a loss at this stage is potentially fatal for our title chances. And that's obviously in the player's mind as well. So, but no, overall, I'd say 85% of his game was actually very good yesterday. He did, bar that one mistake on for the goal, he came for a good few balls. He did some really good punches as well after the actual goal.
He had a great punch after the goal. Actually, just pulled straight out to Moses.
Exactly,
but
it was just that he obviously went for a strong hand, wanted to make sure he got the ball, knew that he was going to be challenged, but in doing so, he would have been better off either going with the left hand or even doing a flappy at it, just to move, change direction of the ball.
He got caught as well though by Johnson. Like you could see it on his leg when he took a goal kick about 5 minutes later. You
can see it on the replay.
He would scrape down. A lot of the time you could get free for it.
Yeah, Johnson did lead with his leg. In fairness, Paul, as a man who's done a little bit of time between the sticks there yourself, is he inspiring confidence in you at the moment?
He seems to have the odd kind of, he does kind of, you do get butterflies in the stomach when he's coming for crosses or anything like that. But all around, I think he's okay. He's not magnificent at stuff like coming off his line or anything like that. But like we said, he's a great shot stopper, and the rest of it kind of, that's the main thing you need as a keeper. The rest of it we can see if you can work it out. But like the crosses and stuff like that. But at the moment, I like him.
Yeah.
I think he, for what's going on, the way we play and the way we defend, you're saying does he inspire confidence? For me, I think he's got big moments in him as we head towards the back end of the season. I think shots are going to be coming in, in the games that's coming up. And do I think he's going to make the majority of the saves? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
The save from Van Wolfswinkel yesterday was fucking a brilliant save.
The one thing that I'd say is, if you look back to when he made a couple of errors in the middle of the season, they sort of came in a bunch.
Yeah.
Now, there was the one against West Ham. I know he was fouled by Carroll, but again, that was one he should have punched in, which he then did later on. Again, we have it. So I'm hoping that he's had his couple of errors in the run-in.
Yeah.
And now you get to see another 2 or 3 magnificent match-winning saves or result-changing saves within the actual context of the games that are coming up.
I think the worry, not the worry, but the thing that we need to concern ourselves about is, does he change his way of play in the summer? Does he work on it during pre-season to improve the areas that he's deficient on at the moment? Because he's going to need to. Because unfortunately, if we do go and win the league or not, we still will have every other team identifying where our weak points were this season. And whilst I think our back four will change, and I think obviously Brennan will evolve the way we play yet again next season, I think if the keeper stays rooted to the spot as much as he is now, you will find teams targeting that as a weak point for us next season.
But Steve, I can almost handle the occasional flap at a cross. What I can't handle is the thing Phil touched on early on, which is distribution, which has gone from being quite rubbish to slightly improved to a bit ponderous. Now, when you have all those kind of combinations coming in, it leaves you very much at a loss when you're a team that tries to play possession football and play from the back. You could feel the tension building when we. Do
you mean in terms of the delay he has on the ball?
Yeah, the way we try to play
that. Yeah. Like I know where you're coming from, and I think that's something that absolutely he has to shift the ball as quickly as every other player on the pitch.
Yeah.
If the ball's coming in, he has to, in his mind, know. And I suppose for him it's a little bit different. He has to rely on his defenders to give him angles either side to save him having to just pump it up the field and make it a 50-50 ball.
Yeah.
But I think they have been doing that. I've been watching them as soon as the ball comes back to him, Sacco or Agger and Skirtle are pulling wide and giving him those options, and yet he's still inviting the centre forward to get it within.
It's that touch. That's what
it's
that extra touch where the one thing that Reina was brilliant at when we talk about it is distribution of his feet. When the ball came back, he was such a good one-touch passer. He knew Agger was there. He knew Skirtle was there.
What it was, Phil?
The difference was that Reina wasn't making the saves that Mignolet has been making.
No, absolutely.
I'm not getting into the Mignolet. Reina. I'm just talking about how
the issue is that his Reina's touch was a good enough touch that it pushed it 8 to 12 inches away from his foot. So his next touch wasn't to position it,
and he was stepping in.
He was stepping into the pass and making it straight away. Whereas Mignolet's first touch is to kill it dead at his foot. He then needs the next touch to step it out from him, and then the next touch is the pass.
That's it. Like Reina tried playing central midfield in a few pre-season friendlies, I recall.
Yeah.
He's obviously that kind of guy.
Mignolet is an ex-outfield player.
He
didn't convert to a goalkeeper until he was 15 or 16.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Good knowledge. I did not know that.
Must be.
Good knowledge.
It doesn't look like it, does it?
I can't imagine he was a slick passer of the ball when he was an outfield player.
Where exactly is he unit?
Maybe he could play centre midfield for us.
Yeah. Do a better job than Lucas, let's be honest.
Steady. Okay, Charlie, talk to me about Skirtle and Sacco. The Sky lads yesterday had Sacco written off pretty early on. I don't know if you were unfortunate enough to be listening to that. Calling him a liability, but his stats after the game stack up very well. Again, 96%, I think, pass completion and all the rest of it. A lot of challenges won. Skirtle was back to his shirt tugging stuff, wrestling with people, almost scored 2 own goals. What did you make of the centre halves in the day?
Statistically, Sacco, yeah, you're right. Statistically, he is a good player on paper, but when you watch him, he's nervy. Like, he makes me nervous. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Skirtle is, if it weren't for his head, then you know how many goals would have gone in. Do you know, like the thing that annoys me with Skirtle is that sometimes I wish he'd get the ball and clear it down the end of the pitch and not just head it out a couple of yards. Do you know, like I want our defenders to get the ball and get rid of it and get down into the other end of the pitch and not just knocking it 20 yards out the box, because all you're doing is inviting them back in again.
Sure,
to me, that's how I felt when I was watching it, was that clear, I was looking at it and going, clear the ball, get rid of it, and that's what I felt. But yeah, like you said, statistically he's good, like, but he doesn't, his presence isn't felt.
Yeah.
That's how I think anyway.
So I heard someone saying it's because he's such a big guy, he's such a big unit, he looks a little bit ungainly on the ball, and yet his passing is wonderful.
It is.
To be fair,
is again statistically, if you look down on paper, he is like his pass rates huge. Like I don't know it off the top of my head.
95%.
95, yeah, easily, yeah, and as easily believe you, but he needs to make his presence felt. He needs to be there, and he needs Carragher to be roaring at him, like, and telling him where to be. And I think that's what we're lacking. We're lacking leadership at the back.
Yeah, a shouty man.
Not shouty. Yeah. Just a proper scouse.
Proper scouse, yeah. Thought you might work that in. Steve, how did you think the two lads in the day? Were you confident in them, watching them throughout the game?
I thought Skirtle was excellent yesterday. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought he was absolutely excellent. Skirtle didn't put a foot wrong yesterday. He'd done everything that he wanted. He's starting to play more football at the back as well, where he's not just doing 50, 60 yard passes or attempting 50 or 60 yard passes. You can actually see Skirtle's became our number one centre half over the course of the season. We all, at the start of the season, wanted Skirtle out. We thought he'd be the first one to go. But the way he's grown into that role, where he seems to be now the leader of the defence, because he's the number one. So it's either Ayer or Sacco that are coming into partnership him. So I think he enjoys the responsibility of it as well. Like, don't forget, like, Skirtle's an international captain as well. Like, he's the Slovakian captain. And
yeah, so let's talk about leadership as a little bit.
I'm not buying that. And Sacco as well. Sacco was the PSG captain at 18 years of age. Like, there's something there between the two of them.
Do you see it in them on the pitch? Do you see that leadership in the pitch?
On Skirtle, yeah, I do.
Skirtle, I've seen it. I've witnessed it. But not, like, it's not consistent.
I think
that's what I feel anyway.
Looking at it from me yesterday, I think going back to what you said, because Sacco doesn't look as comfortable on the ball as other footballers, people jump on that he gets looks a bit nervy. It reminds him an awful lot of Jimmy Traore, to be honest with you. Like that to me seems to be more the influence of what people are seeing in Sacco as opposed to what he's doing on the pitch.
People aren't seeing what he's doing; they're thinking what he's doing.
Yeah, and an awful lot of the set pieces, it was him who was organising. Coming back to where we've talked about what does Agger bring to the pitch, it was him who was organising the defence, and the goals they score don't come centrally through us, right? It's a mistake, and then it was poor play by Sterling and Johnson in terms of allowing the cross to come in. For their second goal. And I don't know, like, I'm looking at them saying, are our centre backs making errors? And I don't see it. I see at this moment in time, and we've seen Skirtle make errors through the season, I just don't see Sacco making these errors that will get people so nervy. He's been, like, to me, he's a rock of a centre half.
He had one slip yesterday in the first half where he was dispossessed when they were trying to play.
But again, that came from poor options in front of him, because he's on the ball, he's looking up to play the next pass and get himself into space. And there was
an awful ball from Flanagan to him.
Yeah,
Flanagan.
Because the ball from Flanagan was actually a nothing ball. He played it too far in front of Sacco and not hard enough to get to Gerrard.
There's a couple of other things as well. We're expecting him to be a commanding, leading centre half, which is fine from a physical point of view, but the bloke's probably not fluent in English yet. You know what I mean? So it's, and I'm not being smart here, but he's probably not. It's very difficult when anybody here that's played football, even at any level, if you're under a bit of pressure, or if you're in the game, if you're engrossed in what's happening in the game, your ability to communicate isn't always as good as it would be if you're sitting there having a yap. Okay, and that's just because your mind's racing. You're trying to concentrate on where players are going. You're trying to make sure everybody's marking up, and you'll bark orders that don't even half make sense sometimes. You know what I mean? The funny thing is, the lads who you're talking to generally know what you're trying to say to them, and shit happens. That happens at every level of football. But if you're not fluent in a language that everybody else pretty much is, it's a lot more difficult to get your points across as distinguished as you want them to be. You also,
everyone's fluent in football.
Fluent in football is one thing, but if you want if you want to say, watch that fella, he's making a run inside you, and you don't know how to say that in the language, you can do the hand movement, but if the player's 60 yards away from you and not looking, you can't shout fucking Jono, he's gone in behind you, if you don't know how to say that.
And we've all seen how useless hand movements are in this bunker.
Yes,
they just don't get responded.
You also need to. There's a second thing, and I'm bringing in the fact that we raised this with how Sky wrote off Sacco.
Yeah.
Number one, Sky pay no attention to actual facts. They just like to make up random shit. And you also have to remember that Alan Smith's an absolute prick. You know what I mean? So his absolute Arsenal biased bollocks, and you know, just because they've absolutely blown it this season, he has no interest in you know, sort of looking at things rationally or with a subjective mind. He just wants to talk complete bollocks about other teams. I want to kill him. There is that element to it. You know, he drives me in. Like, as soon as I turn on Sky and I hear him as the co-commentator, I immediately want to switch off.
Yeah.
You know, I literally do not want to listen to anything he has to
as
say.
opposed to Niall Quinn, which a lot of people think is actually you.
Yeah. that show came out yesterday. I don't know. Listen,
My wife sells Daz.
Yeah, he's not a goalkeeper. You know, but I've had Jim Beglin and Norwich Quinn this year.
Have you?
It's not exactly a fucking star-studded lineup.
Now
of
you come to mention
voices.
it. Actually, yeah, I can hear it now.
There you go. Yeah, but
Well, to be fair, he
What a
grew up
fucking
about
collection of amazing voices to
Yeah,
have. Jim
yeah.
fucking Beglin and Niall Quinn.
Yeah, he grew up about 500 yards away from my house. So.
there you go. That'll explain it. Okay, well, let's move it sideways to the full backs now. Paul Brennan, Glenn Johnson. We have to address this, and we don't want to get into the usual bashing thing. I'm going to.
Well, we're gonna.
Look, he played like a brain donor on the day. Let's be honest. He was sloppy. He was slow. He was AWOL a lot of the time when he should have been places. Flano, I thought by comparison, he was fucking world class. But again, looked a little bit exposed, even though I thought he was wonderful on the ball. I don't think he gets half enough credit for his ability on the ball, that kid. But talk to me about Glenn and about how much his performance actually affected us.
Now, do you want me to talk about Johnson, or do you want me to not put the boot into hard on Johnson? Because they're two different fucking things, to be honest.
We've got two options here. And they
Alright, we go down. I won't go into the Glenn apocalypse or anything like that. I'm just gonna let you. He was atrocious yesterday. Like it's just everything that's bad about him. Like his reactions, like how he dithers on the ball, gets himself and the team into trouble. I just think it was all there yesterday for everyone to see. And like you said, Flanagan was a lot better on the ball. I think he was involved in the first goal.
He was.
In the build up, and he had a few of them where he cut inside and he looked like he was going to threaten like Norwich.
He looks good cutting inside the ball. He looks very
Yeah.
composed.
He's got potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But like I think he's fairly intelligent on the ball, rather than being really technically gifted or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think he just has an intelligence that Johnson doesn't have, and a kind of bravery that Johnson doesn't have. I think the play just breaks down every time with Johnson. I think you can let him run onto a ball if you can put him through like into space, then he's good. But if you give him the ball and try and get him involved in build up, like you're just pissing into the wind, I think.
But even his distribution, like the things you would take for granted from an international class fullback in inverted commas. I mean, he was involved in giving away the ball for the first goal. He just looks stumbly. He doesn't look himself. He's not tuned in.
He kicked a few straight out for a throw as well. Yeah. I don't think he's really suited to a passing team. Really.
Jeez, I didn't think I'd ever do this, but to his credit, to his defence.
Here we go.
Right?
Hello.
He's not helped by having Lucas on that side. I know we're going to get to it, right?
Here.
But he's not helped by having Lucas primarily on that side with him.
You're being very rude.
Alan Smith. Anyway, go ahead.
No, but he's just not helped on that side. Like Lucas was. I hate to jump ahead, but he just was not part of that game. It was like he was playing another football match with two other teams as something was going on. And when Johnson gets the ball, coming back to what you're saying, he gets the ball and it breaks down. It's because he didn't have the option inside him. When Flanagan gets on the ball, Joe Allen was always available for him on the inside. So he was able to give the ball, go, get the ball back, and he's in space. When Johnson gets the ball, he played it to Lucas. Lucas plays it straight back to him before he gets on the go. It's like, you know what I mean. It's not just Johnson in this instance. It's the side that he's playing on the players he has around him that he needs to build in, to build moves down that flank. Yes, he wasn't good on the day, like himself, in terms of what he was doing. I'm not saying he was, but he's not helped by, like, it was basically the shit side of the team, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That right back and the Lucas side was just, the two of them were just playing for fucking, I don't know, somebody else.
I believe that's
We've
what
said that before, that Lucas can't really turn since his injury. He doesn't get on the ball and turn the way he used to. So having him in front of Johnson meant that any time the ball went out to the right, it was just getting funneled back in. Either it got funneled back in by Lucas, or Johnson just fucking lost it, basically.
Yeah.
Doesn't it show you though? And by the way, Phil, I think that's what they call a segue, also known as fucking my agenda right up. But anyway, doesn't it show you how dependent Johnson was on the man ahead of him previous to that in the previous systems?
In terms of it comes back to like when we've talked about
in terms of cover.
Yeah, when Henderson is in the side, and when Henderson's had to sort of a couple of games below the level he's set at for the last couple of weeks, it also seems to coincide with Glenn Johnson's poorest games, because Henderson is that ball that we're talking about there.
Phil, you watched the game back. I haven't since yesterday. So sometimes in your head, what actually happened isn't actually what happened, if that makes sense. But for the second goal, am I right in saying that Skirtle comes out to meet the man? The ball is played. Johnson tracks the runner into the box rather than tracking the winger, which allows a free cross by is it what was the guy's fella, Fem, was it?
Yeah,
was it Fem that whipped it in?
When I watched the second goal back, and I watched it twice to sort of get my head around what was going on. The initial bit is that the ball gets played out to, I'm not sure, the Norwich player anyway, and Johnson stands off him. And stands off him for, I think it was actually Redmond gets the initial ball,
Redmond,
right?
and then Olsen,
and goes on the overlap, right? And that's when Skirtle comes out.
Sterling never tracked.
Skirtle comes out, but nobody tracks the overlap.
Sterling never tracked Olsen.
Sterling lets him go, and that's where it all stems from. But at the same time,
Lucas is there as well.
No, the 7 seconds from the point where Redmond receives the ball to Johnson standing off and not going to close him.
Yeah.
Now, if he goes and closes him there, even if Olsen goes on the overlap, he might get a nick, it might go out for a throw, and it stops the move in its,
the trick is they're knowing where the players were. The trick is if you get there early and stand them, if you get there, press early, stand them up, you can show him inside or outside wherever you want him to go.
Yeah.
He played it, if memory serves me right, left-footed down the channel to the overlapping ball. I could be wrong on that, but I think he did. So if you know the overlap's gone over your shoulder, you show him inside, you make him go back to the centre of the field, whereby your team presses across and is able to put the pressure on him.
The major errors in it was that the Sterling never tracks the fullback.
Okay,
right?
so
because straight away it
becomes
becomes a double team in terms of what's going on, because Skertle's pulled out, and then there's 2 players with Johnson instead of 1.
Yeah.
But Johnson could have helped himself out by, when Redmond gets on it, not standing off, actually going aggressively and pressing him to try
every time. And let's be honest, that's one thing we've kept coming back to, is he doesn't stop crosses.
We've harped on about that from day one.
But it's a fucking fact. It causes.
He doesn't stop crosses, and when the crosses are coming from the other side, he doesn't attack crosses or mark men on crosses.
So as a result, you had
crosses aren't really his strong.
But he's not.
He's a fullback. I've given a little summation there.
Lads, he's not helped out by Lucas yesterday.
Oh, no,
exactly.
Okay. Lucas even got a full game, to be honest. I was surprised Lucas got a full game. I seen him in the lineup and thought 40 minutes off time, he'll be gone off.
Yeah.
But he never, and I was like, why?
He should have been gone after 4 fucking minutes.
Well, actually, that does lead us into what we were going to talk about next. And basically, I was going to talk about in relation to the manager, the initial selection that Charlie's just mentioned there of playing Lucas and Joe Allen, when an awful lot of us had made shouts that perhaps it would be one of the terrible twins, Iago or Victor. So, what do we make about that? About making that call, Steve?
I'll be honest. I actually made the call for Lucas to come in. I did. You know what I mean? I'm going to hold my hands up and
so did I.
You know what I mean? I said that it will be not necessarily because I wanted it to happen, but I really did feel that that's what Rodgers would do.
Yeah.
And Phil made the shout that he only has 45 minutes in him, which I thought fair enough. You know what I mean? My thinking was, I wasn't worried about yesterday. I genuinely thought we would come out and make the start that we actually did. Unfortunately, I didn't foresee us, capitulating.
Steve, given that the shout's been made now a couple of times, as you say, Phil mentioned it last week. Charlie's just flagged it up again there. The 45 minutes thing, or the half, or the 50, or whatever. It was clear that the kid was struggling in terms of
struggling after 5 minutes.
So will you explain to me, because we're very quick, and we should be, to praise Brennan because he's fucking incredible what he's done this year. But would you explain the logic to me of not pulling him
I'm
first?
not being smart. I can't explain it because to me there is no logic behind it. He is obviously thinking Lucas, the type of player that he is, gives us additional defensive cover.
Yeah.
But in my head, I genuinely. Does Lucas come? Does Coutinho come off at 3-1 or 2-1?
It was 2-1, was it?
That's 3-1.
3-1. So
3-1.
my only thinking on it can be that he thinks, right, we're gonna hold these high up the pitch. So you know what I mean. He's thinking to himself, maybe that Gerrard and Lucas slot into a 2 and they get defensive. I genuinely can't put my finger on it because I was shouting at the TV thinking, how is he not the first? I honestly would have hooked him at half time, and I'm not a Lucas hater. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm not saying he has any role to play for the rest of the season. I think he's finished with this football club because of the way we.
Shout.
I do think he should be finished with this football club.
That's a different thing.
But sorry, okay, so maybe he's not. But you know what? Brendan Rodgers is ruthless. He hasn't felt under pressure to play the players that he spent money on. He sent one of them out on loan, and the other two have hardly. And the fella that he brought in on loan from Chelsea, Victor Moses, they've hardly got a sniff this season. So it does show a ruthless. It does show a ruthless streak. You know. So from my point of view, I would hope that he'll shift Lucas in the summer because he just has no role to play in what we do as a team now. There's nowhere I can see him fit into what we do as a team. He's slow on the ball. He doesn't have the ability to turn anymore. As I was saying yesterday, every pass that comes into him goes back to the person he's received it from because he doesn't have a turn. He's not even receiving a body with his body open. Or sorry, he's not even receiving a pass, should I say, with his body open. He's got his back to play. He's receiving it into feet and is having to go back exactly.
He's the consummate play the way you're facing footballer at the moment.
Yeah, but unfortunately he's normally facing Mignolet. So you know what I mean. That's
or Glenn Johnson.
Wherever he's facing. But it was really, really poor, and it was one of the absolute main reasons why we struggled yesterday.
Steve Browne, give me a bit of context here and tell me a little bit of a reason why Lucas should maybe not just be hammered here, because it does feel as like the kid's just back from whatever injuries he's had and he hasn't played, and you know.
But I know when Johnson came back from injury, we could kind of see a gradual increase in performance from him. He came back at the bottom point, and a couple of games he was getting better. I don't think Lucas can. I just don't see how he improves himself to the level that he was supposedly at before the knee injury.
I think supposedly at is harsh. He was at
he became the best centre midfielder in the world when he was out injured. When there was people going on about
I think if you look at Lucas before he gets the injury in Chelsea, he was by far and away the best defensive central midfielder in the league in that season, right? He dominated the likes of Yaya Toure and all who was in form at that point. He looked like he'd stepped up another level.
Aggressive,
he was mobile, aggressive. He was never pacey. What he was he was very aware tactically of what was going on, and you know it's one of those things where you're saying, can he get back to it? I don't know.
I really can't see him coming back to that level because his level or the position he plays requires someone to basically play on a pivot. He is the pivot of the team. If he plays in that role, like Gerrard has been doing.
He wasn't in the pivot role yesterday.
No, he wasn't yesterday, but I just don't think he can get back to that level where he can play in that position. Yeah, because of his knees, because of the injuries, just physically don't think he'd be able to. It's nothing against the fella at all.
It is. It's a confidence thing with the injury, definitely, because like when he went out, like everyone was like, oh, we're really missing him, and then he came back and now we're all slating him. Well, we're not slating him, but
I'm slating him.
Well,
he deserves to be slated after yesterday. The whole team suffered completely yesterday because of Gerrard, who has been imperious in the past few games. His level dropped to okay yesterday because he was exposed. He was exposed by Lucas, which is a conversation we had back in September that the Lucas Gerrard two can't work together.
It wasn't a two though.
No, it wasn't a two. But he killed what we were doing as a team.
No, it comes back to sort of what you touched on at the start.
Paul, let's change this before it's very fucking tense here. Paul, talk to me about the decision that Brendan makes to play the two from the start. It means that we've got on the bench Victor, and he's the go-to guy for Brendan now. He's the go-to guy. He's the first sub, which very few of us can understand. Tell me how you feel when you see Victor Moses arriving onto the pitch to save the day.
It wasn't to save the day.
It was to save the day. And tell me,
the overwhelming feeling is that it's a fucking miracle we're top of the league. Like.
Victor comes on at 3-1, lads. Victor comes on at 3-1, and then it's 3-2. Victor, that's the Victor effect.
I genuinely thought Miles
But he actually, you know,
I thought Miles was very good yesterday.
It wasn't even the flank that the second goal came from.
No, I've slated
and Moses deserved the slaughtering last week when he fucking gave the ball away and Henderson got done. But fucking, he doesn't. He's not getting it. He was over the other side of the fucking pitch when the second goal was
Moses actually done well.
Unless he has the fucking reverse force and he fucking moves the ball for them.
Moses did what was asked of him yesterday, which was to come on, hold the ball up, use it well, use your pace down the wings. I'm not going. I've knocked him. Literally, seeing him warming up on the sideline brought me into a rage at points this season. I did not want. Yesterday he came on. The fella did well. I can't knock him for anything he did.
He was alright.
He
done a job. He done the job that he was asked to do.
He didn't come on to save the day, and he didn't cause any issues with how we played or how we lost goals.
Can I just point out this fact that it was a total wind up, and now I've got Phil to defend Victor Moses and Glenn Johnson in one podcast.
And just on Lucas as well.
And that's a wrap. Just gonna end the pod there.
My work is done here. I'm just
talk amongst yourselves.
just shut up.
Going out for a glory wank now.
But come here, it's a serious part of the agenda that you had down about the substitutions.
Absolutely.
And I think Brendan brings down a 3-1 to change how we're approaching the game. He goes for a counter-attacking style. That's why he takes Coutinho off and brings Victor Moses on. Because
and to be fair, he was tidy.
He wants the additional pace. He knows that Norwich are going to throw the kitchen sink at them, and he's hoping that the gaps that they leave behind, Sterling, Moses and Suarez will then go and exploit. The issue has, as soon as this change is made, we then go and concede a second goal, and it just throws the whole plan out the window.
Yeah.
And he has to go and change something else again in terms of when he then has to bring Agger on because he needs to change it around. My key issue is that the players he took off. I would have preferred to see him take Lucas off at that point and drop Coutinho back into the midfield because Coutinho still had more energy than Lucas had for the whole 90 minutes.
But the Lucas thing is the first time in months that I've actually questioned Rodgers and gone, what you thinking there? Like normally you can see it, like you can see why he brings Coutinho.
What part of it, Charlie? It's starting him or leaving him on?
Leaving him on. Still starting him. I was like, alright, in Brendan, in Rodgers we trust.
Yeah.
So that was fine. But leaving him on, I was like, the substitutions that were getting made, I was like, what, really? You're still leaving him on? And so it was the first time I questioned.
Well, talk to me about Joe Allen then. We're kind of leading into it. I thought he was pretty amazing myself. I thought he just looks so tidy on the ball and high energy levels.
Plays well.
How in the hell is that kid withdrawn in that game where we really need a fella who's tidy on the ball? It seems strange, doesn't it?
That's it. That's exactly the thing. Like that's what I'd like to know. Like, why would you look at where we are and we conceded, and the fact that you still would leave Lucas on the pitch? Like, I'm not like him. I'm not going to slate Lucas. I like him, but he did play poorly, and it does make me wonder why. I actually don't know. I actually don't know.
Honest question here then. What do you like about him?
Who Lucas is here mainly.
No, but fair enough. But no, what do you like about him as a player?
I suppose maybe what he's done in the past. You can't judge him on this season because he's been injured and he's only just back from injury and he's still not confident enough, I think, on the pitch. And I think there is a place for him. If we get to Europe next season, we need a strong player on the bench. We've been on the bench.
Yeah, but the point is we've
he's
qualified.
got ability.
I don't know if he has in the way we want to play football now. I'm not knocking him. I'd love to see him go. And I was talking to Phil on the way down to the bunker today in the car. I'd like to see him go and play for another team and play 30, 40 games a season. I just don't think where he is as a player now and the way he's playing or is capable of playing is the way that we want to play football. So I'd rather see us take 7 or 8 million for him, say thanks for your time, no hard feelings, and maybe put another 2 or 3 with that and bring in somebody else. I'm not saying get rid of him and don't replace him. I'm saying replace him with a more dynamic player who can play in the way that we play football and add something to our squad for next season, because I think we're going to sit here in this bunker next year, regardless of whether it's a game against Fulham or fucking Olympiacos or whoever it is. He's set up to play a certain way, and it's not a way that we play football anymore. So I think we're going to struggle next season with him in the side regardless. And that's why this isn't a personal vendetta. I like Lucas. I like what he's done before. I have my personal vendettas against certain players. Don't get that wrong. But I'm saying in this instance, it's not one with him.
Okay.
I'm saying I just don't think he's right for us.
Okay.
So do you think that we can take the way we play now? Do you think we can take that to Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
But then on the bench, who's on the bench? You need 2 teams.
But that's why you.
This is my point. We're
replace him
we're
with
due
someone
to
better.
bring in a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
My point is we're due to take in a lot of money for guaranteeing
Of
group
course,
stages
yeah.
of Champions League. We have additional sponsorship revenues and stuff like that, which will come into play as
Yeah.
of this summer. There's the kitty that the club have hopefully got for us, regardless of whether we
Go through
we got
tenant in.
through it. And then we've got a lot of players who should be shown the door as well. who
Okay,
hopefully will be-
now that Steve-O's personal vendetta against Lucas has concluded, can we move on or back to what we were talking about, which is Joe Allen's effect on the team? Paul, as a starter, he looks very, 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 very much part of the whole setup, and really, really what Rodgers is looking for: high energy, high tempo, technically excellent.
Yeah, definitely, and especially without Henderson, like he
Yeah.
absolutely has to be in. He's really tidy, and like he covers an awful lot of ground. We saw that when he came in, right back against Spurs when when Gerrard was out, and like him and Henderson just blew Spurs away. And obviously we didn't have Henderson yesterday, but I like Alan's energy, and I like his passing as well. I know he's kind of criticised as negative, but he does kind of keep the ball ticking over.
Yeah.
And like we need that when everyone else is trying to like play breakneck speed, like Coutinho, Sterling, and all. We need someone like Alan who keeps things ticking.
Methodical and yeah, absolutely.
But also on that, and it's the key part of Alan, and it's the key bit where Lucas has fallen down. It's exactly what you said. It's the level of mobility that our centre midfielders ahead of Gerrard need to have to play in the formation, whether it's the diamond or whether it's a 4-3-3, because they are providing the legs for Gerrard around him. And that's why Gerrard has looked so good in the second half of the season, is because Henderson, Coutinho and Alan, when they've all played, are such electric players in terms, and so dynamic. It's a valid question, and I can understand why Rodgers perhaps kept Lucas on the pitch, because he's thinking of a more senior player, a more experienced player, and the inevitable nerves that's going to come on as we get towards the end of the game.
That's a very Brendan thing to do. That's why Johnson starts every game.
It's like he's thinking to himself, right, these are my senior heads, these are the leaders that I have, and he's previously talked about Lucas being a leader for him. And remember when he was out injured, he was sending him out to scout teams and look at how other teams were playing and keeping him very much involved in what was going on.
About keeping him in the squad, like.
But and that's what I suppose really frustrated the hell out of me in terms of the performance that he does then put in when Alan is taken out and when Coutinho was taken out, is that he gave away so many silly frees and created so much pressure on us, as opposed, like there's that fine that's going around, the one that he gives away in the last couple of minutes when Sterling was winning the battle to win the ball back and your man was going nowhere, and he comes through him in the back, and you're just wondering, like, Stephen, I think there's a point here about what you said in terms of we've seen Johnson levels go up as he got more and more games, but Johnson was given starts and he was given 90 minutes to get up. Lucas had got 45 minutes against West Ham. He's gotten a run of 20 minutes here, and he comes in and plays a full 90 here, and that's what's made me surprised about the substitutions, is that if you're looking at either Coutinho or Alan, who've played more time than Lucas has since his injury, you'd imagine that they would have more minutes in their belt. Maybe Brendan had, as you said, he was 3-1, he's thinking, right, I'll actually take Lucas with more seniority, drop him back in, hold the line, and then we'll use Gerrard's passing to break and use Moses' pace, use Sterling's pace and Suarez's ability. I don't need a 10, I don't need the high pressing game at that point, because we'll use the space that opens up for us. But unfortunately, Lucas, because he's that bit off the pace, he gives away the stupid phrase, brings pressure on us, and creates this debate around it that we're looking at, saying, why do you take Alan out? Why do you take Coutinho out when they've been performing so well? Also, by taking Alan and Coutinho out, they're don't have as much game time under their belt in terms of going to Chelsea, so there's the freshness levels and having more minutes and hopefully more energy when it comes to the closing stages of next week's game. I don't want to. I was frustrated as hell watching Lucas back and watching it the second time. I was there going, Jesus Christ! For the various reasons that we talked, but there is an element that the guy has very few minutes under his belt since Christmas. But I do think Steve's point is very valid in terms of next season and where we need to go to and the type of football that we're playing, and something that Brendan himself has spoke about recently over the weekend, that he hasn't been looking to Spain for his direction. And it's something that we mentioned a few weeks back. He's been looking at Dortmund style.
You're creaming yourself over this.
Yeah, I'm fucking. Do you know what? When I saw it, I was just there going, "Oh, glory bank," and it was just there going, looking at the team this season, it has become so like that type of team, the way Munich has played, even under Guardiola, with that more direct ability, retain possession but kill teams with fast, incisive passing that goes on, and the same with Dortmund. And that's why I think that Lucas himself will struggle if his mobility can't come back up to the level he was before he got the knee injury. I can't see him being able to hold down even a squad place in the side, and I think a more mobile and dynamic player.
But do you not think there's a place for him then when, like, obviously next season Gerrard's going to have to be rested a lot more?
Yes.
Like, I don't mind Lucas going in for Gerrard. It's when he goes in with Gerrard.
Yeah, but I think in that instant, Paul, I'd be hoping that we've signed somebody who can offer more to the squad that isn't just a direct replacement for Gerrard. I like the rumours with Mavia, for example, right? The guy can play higher up in the way Joe Allen can fit into that pivot role. Mavia can play like very much specialised as a defensive midfielder, but he can also play as a dynamic centre midfielder as well, ahead of Gerrard. So you don't want. I wouldn't like to see just going a pigeonhole player where it's only if Gerrard is rested or needs time out. You want someone who can add to the squad when we pick up suspensions and injuries, which we will more so when we've got another 20 odd games to add in to factor in.
Keep him on the squad. You wouldn't want to sell him like
Who, Lucas? I think we can upgrade him. I just don't see him getting the level of, and I think I've seen so much now since the injuries happened. I don't think he can turn
He's not going to go back
effectively as the way he used to. He doesn't, and he seems to have lost another half
I
yard
just don't
pass.
think physically he's capable. I'm not.
And that's not hitting. That's
It's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault.
Look, I love to see the way the guy blossomed after the initial, like the level of abuse that he got, and the whole lot as it went on, right? And it was phenomenal to see him turn that around and become a mainstay of the team and become a player that the fans really wanted and loved and wanted to come back. But if you look at it in cold, hard facts and in terms of what he's brought to the pitch since the injury, he's just not at the level as he was before.
He can sign for an Italian team next year and look good. He can sign for a team in the Premiership, a Villa, a Fulham, whoever it may be. They may not be in the Premiership, but I'm just using them as examples. West Brom, whoever it is, and look good because of the style of play. They will set up with him sat, everything in front of him just facing one way, and it won't affect him.
Which is why I think the replacement for Gerrard next season, or the fellow who can step in for Gerrard, is a good shout by Paul there. Look,
Sorry, just one point, right?
Yeah,
the thing
right.
with Lucas was, when Lucas was our best midfielder at the time, we were a 7th place team.
Yeah, we'd report.
Lucas isn't a title winning centre midfielder.
No, but Trev, just coming
I don't
back
think he ever was that.
coming back to what you've just said there, you agree with Paul that Lucas could step in for Gerrard next season? Is that what
I
you're
do
saying?
think that's an option.
So
yeah.
do you not see the role that Gerrard's playing for the club at the moment, and you think Lucas has the legs to cover that ground, to get back in behind the centre halves and make those challenges that Gerrard has?
What I'm saying is I think he's the best equipped in the squad to have a go at that.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say
I don't disagree with you there. My point is that if we go in next season where Lucas is still the best equipped person to do what Gerrard's done, then we've failed. That's my belief. We've failed as a club
in terms of
to improve
signings,
on what
not failed, but just failed in terms of summer business.
I mean in terms of our recruitment policy.
Okay. Well,
But we won the league.
League champions, Champions League works.
Yeah.
But we failed. Fucking Lucas is still there.
Not at all. If he is,
That's the harshest criticism ever.
people are talking like you're saying
Sack the board, tear the place down.
Okay,
Now we're seeing the real Steve.
Ruthless fucking blue shite bastard who's in fucking.
I'm actually being serious here for a minute, and what I'm saying is, if our idea is that he should be involved in somehow, the bloke's still worth 7, 8, 9 million quid. Take the fucking money. You know what I mean? Like,
You've convinced me.
I've lost a little bit of.
You have convinced me.
We're at a point now whereby we need to be ruthless. If you go
I think we
and
agree.
you are league champions, you need to upgrade on that squad.
okay, listen, moving away from the macro capitalism
I'm just
of
going to bring it back to
of
Lucas
Steve
again.
Daley.
As you were saying.
And this isn't about Lucas. It's
And what's this about Johnson?
it's about upgrading on all our players.
Any fucking way.
So Lucas, yeah.
Paul, fucking don't mention him. And talk to me about talk to me about Raheem Sterling. Brendan reckons he's the best young player in Europe. Brendan likes a big statement like that. He does have remarkable balance on the ball, poise. He's lovely to watch now. He looks like a far more mature player than his years would tell you he is. Is he going to be the man who's going to drive this title push over the line, do you think?
Sorry. I like Brendan likes a big statement. I do too. I think the moment Henderson got sent off, he became our most important player this season. Because like going into a game, the two biggest questions Rogers asks himself is. Rogers asks himself is, what do I want from Henderson and what do I want from Sterling? Like the way, because their mobility, the way they can do kind of two roles in one.
Yeah.
So and that's gone for Henderson now for most of the season. So I think like Sterling going into this Chelsea match, it's huge. Like what do we do with him? How do we kind of nullify Chelsea with him and get at them as well?
Yeah.
Because that's the ability he has. Like he's brilliant off the ball, with the ball, his intelligence, his mobility. Like he's like his second goal, like a lucky deflection obviously for the finish, but like once he got the ball, he intercepted the ball in his own half, and like the Norwich players were just an irrelevance. Like he just carried it where he wanted it. He just carried it straight into their box. They couldn't touch him. Like it's just unbelievable to watch. It's brilliant.
It really is. Charlie, you can really trust this kid now coming forward the ball.
Yeah, it's grown in whatever. I think Brendan's took him under his wing, and he's been a bit like a father figure to them. And he's kind of gone, look, you've got a place on this team. You're a good player, and he's got great ability. I mean, in the game there last week when he scored that goal right in front of the keeper, I thought he was going to fluff it up, to be honest with you, but he never. And every game he plays, I wasn't worried about losing Sturridge because I knew we had Sterling, and I knew he was quick, and I knew he was quick on the ball.
Don't mind it.
They're like kids.
I know, yeah. Go ahead.
And in 4 or 5 years he's going to be a legend, a club legend without a shadow of a doubt.
You reckon you can see it building like that?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Steve-O, you big fucking
You wouldn't mind if you can play as well.
I actually blame you for this. What do you have to do?
What the fuck?
That wasn't me. Anyway,
Go on, Trev. Sorry, what?
Steve-O, talk to you're very pally with your mate Brennan.
Yeah.
So what's Brennan's thinking when he's coming out with a statement like that? Is there is that not classic piling pressure on type of thing that we used to accuse him of in the past?
Not necessarily. No, I think I've been very happy with how he's handled the media, with how he's handled the players. I can't fault the man.
No, but this specific shout about Raheem, talking about that.
No, I think you mean with him being the best young player in Europe. No, because how many others are there that are? I think he's just trying to. I don't know. He obviously has an angle on it, and he's working it. I think it's, you know what I mean. Like, and it is working well. Like, I don't think there are many young players of 18 or 19 years of age who are at the consistent levels of Sterling over the last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't seen a lot of the Bundesliga, but I can only imagine someone like Royce or someone like that who I don't even know how old he is. He's early 20s, 21, 22, 23. Sort of age. But 18, 19-year-olds. Playing consistently at a team that's top of the league and winning games, like 2 goals and an assist yesterday to win us that match. If Suarez is doing that, we're jizzing ourselves about him being top 3 player in the world. You know what I mean? So why shouldn't Sterling get the same sort of praise as a young player?
So many wank references in this podcast so far. Go ahead.
Sterling was immense. He's been immense since he came back into the side, and when people were talking about Sturridge and Suarez, we were saying, look, there's a third prong on this attack, and that's Raheem Sterling.
I think he played better.
Yeah, and like he's become liberated as well as the season's gone on. He's free to go. He's really enjoying his football. He's on a real crest of a wave, and as we said, like, even coming to the World Cup, he's going to be electric for England in the World Cup. You just know if he starts, he's going to take the whole thing by storm, especially against some of the shit teams that'll be in the World Cup if they get.
They won't get out of the group though.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Maybe if he stays there and just plays an exhibition matches.
Italy, Uruguay, and
Costa Rica.
Destroy
Costa Rica.
I still fancy them to get past Italy.
But
they have Roy Hodgson as a manager.
Hodgie's going to play him at right back.
Have to hope
but on him, right?
Centre half Raheem Sterling.
He's strong enough.
Yeah,
he could do it, Joe.
I tell you what, he won some balls in the air yesterday, and I was looking, going, he's 5'4" or something. How the fuck? If you're centre half and he's out jumping you should just go in the fucking bin.
He was doing the same against Fellaini in Old Trafford.
But if we're comparing him to young players,
but Fellaini's only 5'6". It's his hair that's another foot and a half.
Steve, if we're comparing him to young players around Europe and saying he's the best young player in Europe, it's very hard to pick out one at this moment of time that's having as big an impact on a team as this guy has, and has a team in the position that they are. Like the nearest comparative you can look to is maybe say Atletico Madrid, and saying is there another 19-year-old in the Atletico Madrid team that's performing at the same level and having as big an impact at the same level, and there's not one that jumps out at me. Like you're looking.
How old is Koke? Is he playing regularly?
He's 21 though.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a bit older, and even when we think to Sacco's only about 22, 23. Like he's only a young fella as well.
What about Germany, Phil? That was.
Well, you've got Julian Draxler who's doing wonderful things at Schalke. You've got
Is he not 23, 24 again?
No, he's only
20.
19. You've got the young fella who's been linked with Kalinoglu at Hamburg, and he's been holding that team together, and he's 18, right? But
he's a smashing footballer.
But I'm talking about a fella who's in a team that's leading the league, right?
Yeah.
Under the pressure to put the points in,
He's
and
winning games for us.
becomes the match winner, and not just a fella who's you know who's grows as every game goes on. He's grown and grown and grown in terms of stature.
His maturity.
So I think it's a fair show.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, I think it's a fair show. You know what I mean? And like when you watch him yesterday, when he gets on the ball, you know, like Suarez was 2 or 3 months ago when he was in that real rich vein of form where he was scoring 100 goals a game, right? When Sterling gets on the ball now, I don't think there's a single Liverpool fan who isn't just thinking, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? It's that same feeling that's
Although
going.
I absolutely slaughtered him right before his second goal.
I have to say a second
fucking
goal,
shoot,
yeah.
fucking
That's
release
what I
it.
did.
Oh, okay.
I did the same
I'll
thing.
take that.
I was like, he did it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like he was lucky. He was very lucky. It was a poor shot that deflects up and
It doesn't matter.
Make
It
a
doesn't matter.
difference.
Listen. When you know other strikers score those goals, you have to have made the run. You've had to got the shot off. The shot was on target, and whatever happens after that, anything can happen.
No, absolutely. I was just thinking he took on the defender wrong side, and the defender actually marked him quite well or you know stood him up quite well.
But look at the last couple of weeks and look at who the players who've carried the can when Suarez and Sturridge haven't been at the form as they've been for the majority of the season. It's Coutinho, it's Gerrard, and it's Sterling.
Yeah,
and it's those three who continually fill in the gaps when the two boys aren't at the level as they have been. And even like Suarez gets a goal yesterday, but it wasn't Suarez's best game. And like it was eventually he was going to have a poorer game.
It was a great
Norwich.
finish. Suarez
It was a great finish, but I'm just saying in general.
But that's what title winning sides do, and that's why we're top of the league.
Exactly.
Because you look at the invincible Arsenal team when Thierry Henry was absolutely burning the league up. It was still the games where you know whoever it was at the time, Lundberg, Pires, whoever it was that came in and dug them out of a hole in games. You know, that's what we have.
Not even looking back to that Arsenal side. Look at United for how many years where they'd have little fucking poxes like Makeda come in and he'll score 2 or 3 goals in the title run in and win points with them. That's the kind of level we need to get to. With Sterling doing that, and he stepped up. We slated Sterling after the whole game. There was genuine. There was general.
I didn't. And I'll stand over it. I didn't. And I said at the time, he's the type of player that needs games.
But there was a genuine talk at the time of Sterling
So
going
stick
out
that up your
alone.
hole.
We had a
I
conversation.
defended the fucker for months. I did, saying that he's gone.
Yeah, you did.
We did. No, fair enough. We did. But we did have a conversation about whether Sterling should go out on loan, whether it would benefit him and the club.
But it was to get games. It was to get games, and the way things have panned out, he's gotten the games, and he's delivered what you know his talent could always do once he applied
Can you
himself.
imagine how annoyed we'd be if he'd gone out on loan to another Premiership club
And did that.
was playing
Did
like
that.
this?
Yeah.
We'd be there fucking going nuts.
Yeah,
He
so
wouldn't have Rodgers coaching him though.
this is good.
That's
That's
a
the
great
other thing.
point, actually, Paul. Yeah.
Okay, well let's finish on a spectacular "I told you so" from Phil then with our review, and move on to our
mate,
listeners'
thanks.
questions. Set you up nicely there, fella.
Back pocket there.
Okay, right.
Nobody bring up Bass though.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, right, let's go on to our listeners' questions. Right, first one's from Cy Furnival. He was a previous guest on the show, and he asked, it's a simple choice you've got here, Steve Daley, MC Hammer or Vanilla Ice?
Vanilla Ice, without question.
How the fuck do you rationalise that? Tell me.
Because I know nearly all the words of Ice Ice Baby.
Next question. Don't let him do it.
I don't know. I think anyone who can make parachute pants a thing has got to get my respect.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice.
And a
seriously.
gold toilet.
He's-
MC Hammer had a gold toilet.
Did he?
A proper gold toilet.
Hang on.
And then he ended up bankrupt.
Yeah.
Fair play. That's a well-made point. Right now,
I'm still going with baggy pants.
yeah, parachute pants are the fire.
Trev has his on now.
Do you remember when he went across and the video he just go and it was like the most amazing thing ever. It was just like the legs were out to the side. It was like looking at a human version of Space Invaders.
It's like your hangover dress. You know, it's fucking comfortable. Piss off.
Yeah, I can dance like fucking this.
Yeah, fucking parachute pants. Anyway, next one up is from Paddy, ex-competition winner, I believe. He wonders, what causes you road rage? Or have you ever confronted another driver? Charlie, I see potential in you here for this one.
Indicators.
Go on.
Do you know what they are?
Okay, don't take it out on us.
Roundabouts, right? You know, if you want to go a certain way, there's a little stick on the side of the car, and it tells other
Stick.
people where you're going to go. Use them,
Yeah.
and have it confront the people. Mainly when I've just kind of drove past them and gone like.
So yeah.
A hand gesture.
But like, it's not proper pin behaviour.
So you see, yeah, but have you ever had proper confrontation? But
I can't tell you.
Okay, good. Still
Still illegal.
I'm still,
Battle all over the sides
I'm
now.
still in court.
Case is still pending.
Do you know what really gets to me?
Go on.
Someone who indicates to turn whatever direction they are, right? And to turn that way, they have to turn out the opposite direction to go. Like if you're going,
You
if they
swing
want
out to the right
Yeah.
to take
to
a
go
left
left,
turn.
and you're like,
You're not driving an automatic, like.
it's not a fucking truck. You're in a fucking Cinquecento.
Wankers in the fast lane who think it's their business and their responsibility to dictate how fast
Oh,
you
to set the
drive.
pace.
Yeah.
Set the fucking pace.
No, this is how
Oh,
fast
right.
we're driving today, lads.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, no, it's
Yeah.
not. Now, unfortunately, it's come back to haunt me because on a few occasions they have been plainclothes police officers. and I've done the whole. See, I really hate undertaking. I actually really hate undertaking. So I would rather flash you like a mental bastard.
Go,
from
get your
behind,
wheels.
get out of my way and let me go past
Yeah.
than actually undertake somebody. But in the odd occasion, I tend to get burned where I absolutely lose the plot. I undertake, I go by them, I like to tell them every kind of cunt that they are,
Yeah.
whilst pointing at them, not looking at the road, and then speed off. But then
That's what got me into
you
it.
got snared.
I tend then sometimes the little blue lights go on and you kind of
Have to go faster. Grand Theft Auto.
On to a question where no one can bury themselves, I hope. Jim Fishlock is asking us, which is your favourite James Bond actor? Steve.
Daniel Craig,
Why is that, kid?
Because he's a scouser.
that as well. But no, I read a lot of James Bond books and massive James Bond fan, and I just think that the original Ian Fleming James Bond, Daniel Craig plays it better than anyone
You
else.
reckon he embodies the
Yeah.
character? Any other sheds?
I'm with stay on Daniel Craig.
Craig.
I didn't read the books, but I know the premise of Ian Fleming's James Bond was a nasty fucker.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't
Dark.
the suave Roger Moore.
He wasn't Roger
No,
Moore.
he wasn't Roger Moore. And as much as I love those, you know,
Eyebrows.
I like Timothy Dalton, I like Roger Moore, I like, you know, George Lazenby, the whole lot. And you know, I just think Daniel Craig, for the time that we're in now, he embodies a modern James Bond, action-packed, full of fun, and still charming and fucking a legend with the ladies, but will also.
You
not
sound like
seven
you're quite
shades of
taken
shit.
with him.
I've loved him since Layer Cake.
Ah, Layer Cake is fucking amazing.
What a movie, and ever since then.
Roger Moore.
Roger
Moore, what a legend.
Says Stuart Downing, the
What a
cheesy
fucking
cunt
legend.
over there.
What a legend. Roger Moore.
Just the
The
fun.
name's Bond. James Bond. He was a fucking legend. Everything about him. He was
That was actually Roger Moore after a stroke.
It's Roger Moore now. But no, in fairness, right, he was brilliant. He was like the quintessential English gentleman as a fucking James Bond. I don't want stupid Daniel Craig. I want fucking Roger Moore.
Roger Moore has one of the best
Completely
Bond scenes of
unbelievable.
all time. I can't remember what film it's in, but
My favourite James Bond film was Moonraker.
Oh, keeping the British end up. That's his pun at the end. That's quality. That is quality.
the Roger Moore scene is when
Because
some
Jaws gets his
woman gets
board.
out.
Remember Jaws gets his board in Moonraker?
He's just doing this on
It was
purpose.
brilliant. Remember he photo
The pigtail girl.
Yeah, the pigtail. Jaws got a board in it. And that stopped Jaws being a lunatic.
That is well. That's very good.
You're not like Roger Moore. You're just saying this to piss everybody off. Everybody knows at this stage.
Roger Moore was brilliant.
He's a contrary bastard. Roger fucking Moore.
And Sean Connery. After that, they've all been shit, like, so it's either one of those two.
Named everyone though.
Between you mentioned them all.
All right.
Did we say Pierce Brosnan?
No, because
He was crap.
he's
He was
a
crap.
prick.
He should have stayed as Remington
He got
Steele.
fucked with the scripts though. They're like,
Excuse me, bollocks. He's a shy bag.
Do you remember the ice skating Jaguar?
Fuck off back to Mrs. Dow for you.
Fucking wild.
Remington Copper.
Dave Thomas, regular tripper, asks, "Who would you be and what would you sing on Stars in Their Eyes?"
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be.
Yeah. Any shouts?
Go on.
I'd just be,
I'm sure you just go that far.
no, I'd just be me.
Come up to the microphone, Steve.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. You reckon you carry that off? You got the old positive baritone voice going on, yeah? Nice.
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
And I sing Starships.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, that's wow.
Gary
Jenny
Glitter.
and the pacemaker.
Harry Glitter.
be a butcher.
Okay.
I don't want to be young.
Next question's from Harris. Harris asks Paul Browne, what's the most important muscle in the body?
Your tongue.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
That's good. Is it
I thought
anatomically speaking a muscle? I guess?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the strongest muscle in the body as well.
Yeah.
that not your
and it's the best- it's
not
the
your
best
arse muscle.
feeling.
What, your sphincter?
No.
No, that's not a muscle.
Your gluteus
I don't know anything about
Glu-
bodies.
Gluteus maximus. It's not the strongest one. Or your
It's
heart.
it's the biggest one.
Yeah, it's
Probably yours.
Your heart is the strongest one.
Do so much more with your tongue.
What? I missed that.
It depends on what song you're singing. My lipstick brings all the muscle.
It's milkshake.
Whatever. It's my lipstick.
Thanks for that.
Hangover dress.
Thanks for that.
He likes to get dressed up after a night's drinking. Run himself a bath.
Okay, before Nikki
The gig is Nicky over the
before Nikki buries herself anymore here, Steve Daley, would you give us a shout on this one? Yeah. If you could host one TV game show, which one would it be? If you can come on, you can just be the man. One TV game show, which one would it be?
I'd probably go old school. Something like Blankety Blank or fucking actually Blind Date.
Blind Date.
Yeah.
You with
take
Cilla
over
Black,
from Cilla.
yeah.
Take over from Cilla because every time there's two birds that didn't get the date. You know what I'm saying?
Come here to
Take me
me.
out. Take me out. It's fucking 30 of them.
Yeah, but have you seen the state of the birds?
Hang on a
that fucking
second.
Take Me Out?
The kiss goodbye seems to be lingering
Take-
quite a long while.
The Irish version of Take Me Out should be called The Tide Wouldn't Take You Out.
Sniper won't take it.
This is following on from a tweet that Paul Browne probably prefers he didn't actually put out there about his Easter eggs. And this is from Derek, and Derek saw it and snatched on and put a question, and he says, he has stitched you up nice. He says, is having two Yorkies for breakfast ever acceptable?
Yeah.
I only had one. Like, that's how I got caught. Because when the girlfriend came home, what have you been doing here? And then she's just kind of like, where'd that Yorkie come from? And like, I was like, I didn't have, she knew I hadn't fucking moved all day yet. So I couldn't say I went out to one.
You're still in your man nappy watching a match.
Was it kids? Chocolate bars?
What?
Was it your own
No,
chocolate bar?
mine. Jesus Christ, what do you take me for?
Did you
I'm
have-
pathetic, not evil.
If you looked at my Twitter properly, you'd see I had Ben and Jerry's.
For your
Ice cream
breakfast?
for my breakfast.
It's no Yorkie though, is
Easter
it?
egg.
No, ice
How'd you have a
cream.
Ben and Jerry's Easter egg?
Ben and Jerry's ice cream
All right.
for my breakfast.
When? Today?
For our
Yeah,
listeners, that
yeah.
was Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
It wasn't Ben and Jerry's ice
I'm gonna
cream.
punch you.
Yeah, but that's how I got caught. Where'd that Yorkie come from? And then, like, she knew I hadn't left the fucking house yet. So, I just
The
got,
fridge door was still open.
I just kind of stared at my shoelaces. Oh, you bastard!
What kind of time are we talking about here, Paul? What
Change me.
I'm not sure.
Sat there with a bag of fucking baby wipes and a tub of pseudo cream. Going, thank God you're home. I really couldn't handle this on my own.
Just can't get that back, bitch.
Also, football spread the cheeks. You give it a wipe.
And on that note, we will fucking finish it. Okay, finally then some admin. Don't forget Neil Poole's We Are Liverpool fanzine, which will be on sale outside the ground for the Chelsea game and on match days after that. It's available from weareliverpoolfanzine.com. There's amazing content there, some great writers, and also myself and Phil. It's only £1.50, so get on it. Also, get on to lfcdaytrippers.com for the finest of content, and all our latest podcasts are on there as well. Some controversial news stories that you can have a look at as well. The 5 times competition is still running. Check out our timeline for details on that. And finally, your day trippers tonight were Charley Maloney, Paul Browne, Stephen Browne, Steve Daley, Phil Casey, and myself, Trev Downey.
Do you come here? Do you when you were shaving?
Work it in because you can't.
When you were shaving, do you put it right the way
So
around?
make sure you get it in properly.
You meant to say What's
happening? Like a big puffy cloud.
He's dressing as Santa Claus.
Could you imagine?
What's happening here?
He's like
Shaving foam.
Yeah,
Like an upside down Santa.
Just keep on down.
I just putting the shaving foam on.
No, but the best bit is that he doesn't do any on the beard. Just puts it
I walks around.
Look at us. He's alright. Cotton ball ahead.
Fuck the later house and fucking put a shaving foam.
I